Hey everyone, welcome back. This video is essentially detailed explanations about Warlock responsibility and to etch out some extra damage in Throne of Thunder, all heroic. Max 13 out of 13 heroic. We'll be going through a VOD of each kill, explaining what is occurring and why, and at the end I will give some coining tips to help you gear up, and some hope for the future of Warlock in Miss Pandaria. Hope you enjoy. Alright, let's get straight into it. First boss, Jin'rokh. I'm going to try to go through these fairly quickly. There's a bunch of them, and if you ever have any questions, there's a link to the Discord below, or just leave a comment below. I will get to the comment as fast as I possibly can. Now, Jin'rokh. A little DPS tip on pull here, pre-pot. We don't have our pots because we Dark Water potted them. Just pop a regular Dark Soul, save your Berserking, save your gloves, save everything else. Ideally, you can trinket swap. If you have a 2-minute trinket, if you have 45-second ICG trinkets, I wouldn't bother doing that. Now, there's 3 abilities I want to talk about that will happen to you. The first is Focus Lightning. Boss is going to pick you with this little ball following you. All you have to do, run it out to the side and keep it as far away from where the pool that's going to form as away as possible, because if the pool touches the ball, everybody dies. And you will not be very happy. Now next, this Thundering Throw. We'll see this Thundering Throw in a second. The tank is going to get thrown, and the spot where the tank lands, do not stand on that. You will get stunned. There will be a pool forming here, and you will stand in the pool, and you get a 40% damage buff. Yes, a 40% damage buff. So we're pooling all our resources. You get the 40% damage buff. Doom Guard, Kitchen Sink, pop everything. As soon as this first pool happens, immediately there's a Focus Lightning. So you want to be ready to run out, and don't be the person that gets caught doing that, because that's very silly. Now, we're just going to sit in here and DPS for a little while, until eventually the pool grows in size and you get this ionization. This is a Warlock thing. You can use Unbound Will instead of Burning Rush, and Dispel yourself. You can get a healer to coordinate a Dispel with you, or you could use an Imp Sack if you want to Dispel yourself. So you have a few options for getting this buff off you, but you want to make sure you're out of the pool and not near anybody. A little min-max thing, you can put a gate over on the bottom, because people don't usually stand near the bottom. They usually lean towards more over here, because the boss will hop into the middle. And you can put a gate here, so get dispelled, take advantage of the pool a little bit longer, and before this lightning storm, just get to the middle, which we'll see in a second here. So I have the ionization buff, I run out, I get dispelled, I try to take advantage of the pool. We didn't have gates because we were going very fast, that's okay. And so I start cheating towards the middle, and the lightning storm is about to happen. Now he pops into the middle, lightning storm occurs, we're all out of the water, and we pop all of our defensives here. We're just kind of eating these with unending resolve and all these defensives up. You don't really have to dodge, but you should dodge if you think you're in danger. And we're kind of just DPSing here. It's important to note, the Thundering Throw will happen almost immediately after the thunderstorm. So we want to make sure we don't pop this immediately when it's up, because your Dark Soul should be coming up almost in perfect unison with the Thundering Throw. So the Thundering Throw comes, tank goes down, we get to the pool, stand in it, and we pop everything again. And that's kind of it. Now, our DPS is high enough where we can fight through this next ionization and not worry about running out to Dispelled. I don't think groups will be able to do that for a while. Here's me getting Focus Lightning. I made a mistake here. I ran out of range of the boss really bad, lost uptime. I get hit by this, and I think I'm going to get dispelled, but raid leader calls, oh, commit, so I jump back in, and we just start doing damage to it, and that's kind of it. So it's a pretty fun fight. Pools are chill, nice 40% damage amp, and it lines up with our cooldowns really well as Destruction, and Demo and Destro and Af are all very viable for this fight, so enjoy. All right, time for the second boss of the raid, Horridon. Now, it is important to note another interesting talent choice. I chose to take Supremacy here over Sack, and that is because there is a mechanic called Dire Call. Dire Call summons a pink dinosaur that doesn't have a nameplate for some reason, and it just targets you continuously, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can hit it, and it knocks it back a little bit, but it will continue chasing you throughout the entire fight, and there's 2 things you could do. You could go Supremacy instead of Sack, and just set your pet on it and forget. That's what I tend to do. Or a nice secondary option is this macro, where you do /target Direhorn, Curse of Elements, target last target. Super easy, super cheap mana-wise. So you can choose what you want. This one requires more brain power, but you do a lot more damage. This one, pretty brain dead, don't have to worry about it. Now let's get into the fight itself. Now, this first door, there's these Waste Walkers. These are your prio kill target. They summon these sand traps. You can see an example right here, and they're really, really annoying. Now, you can also see on the top right, there's 4 gates. Each time Horridon charges a gate, Horridon gets stunned, takes extra damage, and then permanently takes extra damage for the remainder of the fight. 50%, 100%, it's 50% every single time. So what you're going to be doing is going to be abusing Shadowburn as much as you possibly can, and destroying these ads while funneling into the boss. And that's the goal. Rain of Fire is your friend, and that's about it. Also, we save Doomguard because there's a stacking buff that occurs throughout the entire thing. I'm not going to explain mechanics like the swipe. You should kind of figure out what that is on the fly, and get it out of the raid when you get it, because the only way to explain something like that is kind of experiencing it. So you can see the charges occurring on Weave. Weave runs it out to the side, and you can see that the swipe is occurring, but it doesn't happen in the raid because he ran out. So that's that. But this is the first door. Now he charges. You can see if OG has a nice stun here, and now you can see that first stack of 50% damage. Now it's really useful to set up a gate here, so you can go to the next gate very easily, because while moving between the gates, Horridon's going to pick someone to charge, and if you're in the wrong direction, your tanks will be very mad at you, and you want to be the right way. It's very easy to die to these swipes, as you can see. It's a lot of damage. Now, I'm about to take this gate any second, as the boss enters kind of out of my range. And boom, you're already in spot for the next one. Now, while the dire call is happening, just pre-drop the next gate, make life easy. It's worth the global, because it saves you a lot more globals and movement later on. Now, the second gate, the most important ad that comes out are these Venomancers. They drop this poisonous effigy. That's really annoying. It doesn't have that much health, but they're super annoying. But make sure you're popping your cooldowns to kill the ads, because you can funnel that damage into the boss with Havoc. If you're just targeting the boss the entire time, you might be doing more DPS, but your group's going to have a harder time killing the boss itself. Like, you will be wiping, and people will be like, okay, what's the damage on these Venomancers? And you'll be doing no damage to them, and they'll call you out. So make sure you're killing the priority targets. Rain of Fire, again, your friend. And make sure you're checking your embers. I overcap on this fight a lot, because I'm not paying attention to my embers, and you lose a lot of damage off that. But this is a funneling dream come true. Now, I'm going to skip to the next door. There, you stun again, taking extra damage, hitting the boss. Skip to the next door, pour it over. For our strategy, this third door with these frost guys, our tank kites the frost guys, and we kind of just stand still, which is really nice for our rains of fire, and we can just stand there and pump the boss, focus on the boss, big damage to the boss. I'm saving my cooldowns here. I should probably glove, but I'm saving the 3 minutes because we're about to lust after he charges the door one more time here. Got to charge. Kaboom. Now we're at 150%. Pop the Doom Guard, pop everything, go crazy with it. These Chaos Bolts are about to hit like trucks here. Like, look at the dopamine numbers flying across the screen. The boss is going to come down, our tank just cuts to the side, and that's kind of it. Now you're just killing the boss. So that's Horridon. I mean, it's a pretty cool fight for Warlock, especially for Destro, I think, and it's really good for AF too if you have taught like the ads level enough for your dots to tick. So keep that in mind. This is one of the bosses people will be proccing very early on. So that's about it, and that's the kill. Let's move on to the next one. So the third boss is Council, and I firmly believe you can play any spec on this boss, but I think Affliction is the absolute coolest. Now, what I like to do is I play this exactly like Stone Guards. Make sure Elements is up on everything, then try to kind of fish for the procs, and then pop everything kitchen sink and go crazy. Now, the priority that you need to think about is standing in melee so you don't bait bad rolls by Kazrin, and kind of watching your feet at all times, and then balancing that with your dots on every single target. There's a few priority kill targets. It's very important that even in the middle of your dot swapping, even during your cooldowns, that you swap your dots at least once on top of the ads that come out. The 2 shards, the torments, and the blessing. Because the blessing heals the boss, which is detrimental. And the other guys do some bad things as well. So, you know, you'll see it coming out here. Oh, Bless Low Spirit's out. I swap my dots. And I even put in some Malefic Grasp and a Haunt. These give shards, so you can drain them for free, and it's very nice. But it's hard to balance the multi-dotting the entire time while you're doing this boss. But that's the goal. You multi-dot the entire time. Watch your feet for when you get sand traps. Make sure you're not too far out so you don't bait bad rolls. Sometimes you get a frost AoE, you just stand out with it. And that's kind of it. It's a very straightforward fight. It's fun multi-dotting. And I'm just going to skip to the end because nothing crazy happens. It's just big AoE extravaganza fun time. And it's a really cool Affliction boss. And we'll be getting better throughout time. Skip a little bit to the end. Oh, I do want to mention this debuff here. This damage taken buff. If you get this, somebody bites you with it. And the longer you hold it, the more damage you take. So you get rid of it by hitting your extra action button on someone else. Try to target someone who hasn't had it yet. If you hit someone else that already has it, then it's not ideal for their damage taken situation. They might die. So I let my dots fall off here, which hurt my damage. And you know what, that happens sometimes. So if you need some help with the AoE rotation for Affliction, I did an Affliction guide a little while ago. Or you can ask in the Discord. I kind of have a little formula for doing AoE consistently on council type fights, which makes things semi-consistent as long as your fingers listen to your brain, which mine don't do. So that's council. Special note, I will talk about this later, but you want to use a coin on this boss every single week until you get the trinket. The trinket is really, really good. So this is one people will be clearing consistently as well. You're going to see me hit a fat coin here. I'm going to pray, and I receive some gold. So that's it. Third boss. Fourth boss, Tortos. Now this boss is very interesting. There's some unique Warlockness that comes in handy here, and I want to preface that first. Now, this Glyph of Curse of Exhaustion makes the raid's life a lot easier, especially if you have multiple Warlocks playing Affliction. So make sure you grab it. Our glyphs don't matter that much because we just don't have good glyphs. It's not our fault. And my trinkets are off ICD here because we are rushing. Again, this is a race. So, unpull, do the normal haunt, and put up dots. And then immediately just put up a corruption on these guys. Because you want to get the shield, because the boss does a big AoE earthquake thing. Here's a big stomp. And it's going to drain your shield, and you need this to live. So if all you have to do is put a dot on one of these crystals, and then you're good. Now, on the opener here, I'm trying to fish for my procs because my trinkets aren't ready, and I'm praying to anyone else who will listen. And I just went for it because my Skull Banner was about to fade. Now, everything else procs after I start soul swapping. So, one more time. I just keep soul swapping because we're going to see in a minute. I'm trying to extend the duration of these dots. The damage on this crystal doesn't matter and probably will not count on logs in the future. But I'm extending the duration of these dots because when the turtles come out in a moment, instead of having dots that last like 8 seconds because I wasn't swapping them, they're going to be very long in nature. We're going to be bursting down one of these turtles. And you can see I put on my Curse of Exhaustion to keep the turtle slow. This turtle knocks you up if you get too close to it, which is really annoying. So you want them slowed. Frost traps, mushrooms, chill blains, whatever. Curse of Exhaustion is one of the easier ways to do it. But you want to spread your dots to all three of these turtles, ideally. And it does a lot of damage. This first turtle is the most important. You want to kill this as fast as possible because you want to avoid a boss mechanic. That will wipe your raid. The Furious Breath will wipe your raid. You throw the turtle in, stuns the boss, extra damage. Now you're going to notice we just took a stomp, so my shield fell off, so I went over here, I hit the crystal again, and I instantly start building my shield back. I get hit by something else, my shell falls off again, so I gotta hit this again. And I start building, and I build. Now the breath's about to go off. You're going to see the shell go in, and most importantly, when the shell hits the boss takes 50% more damage for 15 seconds. Now, this is when you're supposed to funnel into the boss. I'm not very good at this. I always tend to focus more on these ads, who are criminally annoying. So I would save all my cooldowns and Doom Guard and everything, for this vulnerability. I summoned my Doomguard too late, as you can see. I don't have a good job of having shards for the big burst with Lust. We're going to kick another turtle in as soon as it dies here. Special note, these bats are... You could do the double seed onto the bats and like... Or incinerate and use them for funnel. If you're Destro, use them for funnel with Rain of Fire. That's huge during Lust here. If you're Demo, you can just hit him with Chaos Wave if you want. It's easier to let the tanks and the melee handle it because it's hard for the melee to gather. You can see the Chain Lightning bouncing off the turtle onto these bats, pulling the bats into range, which is making our tanks have a harder time. So just be wary of that. If you're going to pad into them, make sure your tanks have threat is all, because you go ahead and do it, but I tend to not do that. And that's kind of the entire fight. Rinse and repeat. You're going to see the same mechanics coming out here. Big stomp in 2 seconds. Can't do anything about this. The boss still has a big vulnerability, which is nice. The shield's going to disappear. We're stunned. And I go get my shield again. That's it. Now, next trolls are coming. Occasionally, if you want to be cheeky and super helpful, you can use one of your shards and Curse of Exhaustion. And Curse of Exhaustion becomes an AoE, and it helps the setup better. So if you're a team player, have extra shards, or just don't care about your damage, whatever you want, you can slow the turtles and make your team's life a little bit easier. And that's the entire fight. Warlock's really good on this fight because you could cleave all the ads at the same time. But keep in mind, the 50% damage on the boss also applies to little turtles, so you can crank on these with your dots, with your multi-dotting. And make sure you keep your shell, watch out for boss vulnerabilities, Curse of Exhaustion to turtles, and you're in for a good time. And that's kind of the entire fight. I'm going to skip ahead, see if anything really relevant occurs, but I don't think it is, because it's just the same thing over and over and over again. We get our shield, we kill the turtles, we kick it in, we exhaust the other turtles, and that's it. Tortos is fairly straightforward and should be one of the bosses clearing pretty early on. And I do recommend playing AF on this boss. If you don't want to play AF, it'll be fantastic as any of the 3 specs, I guarantee it. That's it. That's Tortos. 5th boss is Meghaera. And Meghaera works, you got to kill 7 of these heads. And there's 2 of them up at all times. This is a very good AF, Destro, or Demo fight. Now, special tip, on pull here, I just want to let you know, these heads die very quickly, right? I do guard, I pop everything on pull. That's fine. During this setup with these 2 heads, you can put Rain of Fire here, and it hits both heads, which is super nice. I'm going to be using Havoc the entire time on the 2nd head and incinerating to generate extra embers. So you can Rain of Fire this one extra embers, so you can Havoc for extra embers, and there's a little set of ads that we'll talk about later that will also give you extra embers as soon as they spawn. So you want to place a gate before the fight, because there's going to be a fire and a frost breath. The frost breath is a beam that follows you, and it just makes getting back in easier, or getting out if you're having trouble with your movement speed. I don't think I get that mechanic in this kill, but that's okay. After we kill a head, we stack and we eat all these healing AoEs and this rampage. I will still try to Havoc the other head and try to pop cooldowns when I can in this position, because it is very easy to just sit here and attack the boss for 20 seconds, which is really nice. So we're chilling here. I want to see when the ads spawn. You don't get shards back when you shadow burn these heads, because they're still alive technically. So don't bother shadow burning these, thinking that you're going to be getting anything. You can see that's the example of the icy breath right there, which is really good for us. And you can see right here the first round of ads spawn. Now these ads, you want Shadow Fury for this fight, because these ads will pick people out and stun them for 13 seconds until they're stunned, until they're interrupted. And Shadow Fury is really nice for dealing with them. But as soon as you see the circle, you can put Rain of Fire on these and enjoy the free embers, because it is very nice. I don't think I saw these in the corner of my eye. I see them at the end, and I just start shadow burning them instantly, because boom, I have full shards now. Super nice. But we're sitting here, mashing the head. This is the 2nd head. Never stand in front. You can get breathed on. It's really annoying. That's usually a tank thing if you get breath. Just watch your positioning. You can see the torrent on Jack right here. Jack just runs it out perfectly. Good job, Jack. Very gorgeous. And we're just chilling. I have Havoc up in a second here. I think you're going to see, yeah, I'm going to run over and havoc this guy and start smacking this guy. Let's see how much armor you get. Just, it's a lot. That's kind of it. It's the same thing on loop, and you're going to kill 7 heads. Nothing else particularly occurs. Oh, you can see an example of me getting stunned here, which is super annoying. So sometimes like 2 sets of ads go out. So I immediately put down Rate of Fire. You can see just generating shards. Very, very nice. And then I get picked by this guy. You can see the suppression. This is why we take the Shadow Fury, because it's really annoying that stun lasts a super long time. And you just get infinite shards back from just Shadow Fury, Shadow Burn. It's beautiful. Gorgeous. That's the entire fight. I'm going to skip ahead to the end when we lust. We lust on the second to last head. Or on the last head. I forget which head, actually. I think it's the last head. But yeah, this is the last head. We've killed 6 out of 7, and we're going crazy with it. Just mashing everything we got. I paw it. Everything comes up perfectly at the end here. And spread out one more time, and boom, that's it. That's Meghaera. So if you're struggling to push into the raid, and this is one of the few heroics you're doing, I would recommend this is the second boss that you coin on. There's a bunch of good items, including the wrist wraps and the neck. So, good one to coin. Or if you're pushing further into the boss, I would save, and I'll talk about which bosses I would coin later on. But that's Meghaera, the 5th boss. Alright, 6th boss, Ji-Kun. Before we get into it, before the pull even starts, make sure you drop your gate in a place where it makes long distance from the edge, and drop your port in a middle place. You'll understand later. Now, 2, 1, go. Pop everything on pull. Doesn't matter. You'll skip a little bit ahead. Now, if you're assigned a nest, this is important to you. Before I get into that, actually, these pools, you can absorb them with your wall. They end up doing more damage the more pools you absorb, so don't absorb too many. You can just kind of leave them there and not really worry about it unless you're starting to run out of room. Now, I get assigned a nest. If you want to land on a nest 100% every single time, all you do is pop Burning Rush and walk forward. You walk forward, that is it. You will make it every single time. Now, once you are in a nest, kill everything in the nest. And once everything in the nest is dead, you will pick up a feather, a red feather. And now it has 3 charges, lets you fly for 15 seconds. Now, you need to use one to get back quickly, but the feather has a few other uses as well. You can fly, which I should have done here, in front of Ji-Kun when Ji-Kun feeds young. And Ji-Kun will give you a big damage buff, which is super useful. A second use of the feather, which you will see later, is you can use it to dodge this downdraft, which we will see in a second. But it is also very important that you are spread out, because this caw is an AoE that's really irking. Now you'll see why we set up our gate and our port. You can use Burning Rush and fight against it. You can keep casting and use the gate as a supplement and the port. But either way, don't fall off. You won't die, but you will be down there a very long time, and it is super annoying. So, you can see that Ji-Kun is about to feed young and spit this food out into the air. Spit the food. I grab the food. I get hit by the dot as well, so that's my mistake. But you can see I have a damage buff. I do 100% damage now, so I'm going to try to plant in place. And that's the hard part of the fight, is min-maxing your flight with the nest you're going to do the extra damage and using your CDs accordingly. So I don't have Dark Soul yet, so I'm gonna hold as long as I can here for my Dark Soul. But you want to take advantage of this damage as best as you can. And I messed up my charges. I'm only gonna get one of these in this fight, I'm pretty sure. So learn from my mistakes and make sure you're min-maxing your feathers. Now, you will see the next downdraft in a minute here. I believe I used this feather to dodge the downdraft, which is super useful because I wasn't near any gate or anything. So I just fly up in the air and I just start casting. Now, I try to get sneaky with it because the feed young is going to happen, but I use the feather too early and I'm going to fall before the feed young happens. So I'm going to try to shoot forward, and you can see I'm out of time right before the feed young and I don't get the damage buff. And now you're going to see people dying left and right. But that's a good example of kind of what happens in the fight. I think we go down to the nest one more time. Raid leader calls to leave the nest because we don't have the people to go down. It's just the raid leader and I. So we aren't going to be getting any more feathers and no more flying for any more damage buffs for us. And that's kind of the whole fight. So TLDR, drop your move and stuff to fight the downdraft. Fly into the feed young with your feathers for the damage buff. Don't soak too many pools. Spread out for the caw. And go to your nest by burning, rushing, and walking off. Don't jump, just walk off. You will land every single time. And that's the whole fight. And I'm going to skip ahead because this got really ugly for us at the end. And all I do is try to stay spread out. Not be near anybody. Stop going to nests. And I get stuck here in the little corner. And I don't end up doing as much damage as I would have liked to do. But it was tough. We had a lot dead. And the boss died. And that's it. That's Ji-Kun. Boss number 7, Durumu. This is an infamous boss because there's been some controversy about it 100% working properly, but that's okay. We'll explain what we can. I also want to note, I was unable to equip my essence due to a bag error, so I was unable to use essence on the next 2 fights, so keep that in mind. I choose to go AF on this because of this mechanic right here, this walls of ice, which will occur in 2 minutes, but it doesn't really matter. On pull, we're going to pop everything as all 3 specs anyway. It does not matter. First mechanic that you have to worry about, this lingering gaze. It's going to pick some people. They get the arrow on their head. They run to the back. They drop a gross pink looking pool that does a lot of damage. That's all you got to do. That's the first part. Next, we have this force mechanic. Pie of the room gets picked. It'll knock you off. Don't stand in it. If you're quick, if you get knocked, you can port, or I think you can glider, but I also think it might stun you, so I would just drop my port. Make life easy for yourself. Now, one of the 2 big mechanics are these lights. This blue one, you stand still. This yellow one, you try to avoid finding the yellow one. If you get red, you have to find the 1, 2, wherever the 3rd one red is, and kill them. That's it. I'm assigned to stand in the blue beam. So I go over to the blue beam, and all I have to do is stay in my blue beam. I just stand here. So if I see a crimson as revealed, and I'm within range of it in my blue beam, I will try to swap my dots onto the crimson to try to kill it faster. Because if you don't kill the crimsons in time, bad things happen. So don't do that. But try to help if you can within range. These also give shards back if you can drain them in time. So it's very useful as an Affliction Warlock, and they give you resources. They give you Burning Embers, etc., etc. So we're standing here. We're killing our guys. We're fast forwarding. I got a gaze. I ran out with it. Run back in. Killing stuff. These guys have like no health. I don't really swap my dots to them because they usually evaporate. But if they do a little bit extra damage to your raid, so kill the eyes if you're having issues. Now, we're about to get the first wall of ice here. And you're going to see why I picked Affliction for this fight. I'm going to just let it play out here. In 3 seconds, we're gathering up. With everybody's kind of gathering up. Walls are up. Now, it's a big triangle. This entire line shares a health pool. This entire line shares a health pool, and same with that one. And you can swap from here to the far one, so you can kill the one that nobody can really touch as range very easily. Shamans destroy these walls, but I popped my cooldowns here because we were having issues with killing the ice walls initially. So usually I pop my cooldowns here. I don't think I did on this attempt, but we try to kill this wall as fast as possible. And you just swap all your dots around. Because as the beam is going and the room is filling with fire, the melee can't really help with these ice walls so much. And you can see the beam is starting to go and our wall is still a little healthy. But all the dots going crazy on the wall is super nice. And if you're not having issues with these walls, I would recommend you play a different spec as of this moment in the gear that we have from tier 14. A little bit down the line, maybe App's going to be stronger on single target with the meta gem and UVLS, etc. But for now, I would play AF to help kill the ice walls, because you're going to see later on the ice walls are not dying quick enough for us. But that's it. You've seen every mechanic for this fight now. I'm moving to the second wall. You should have cooldowns up for that pretty soon. I pop Berserking here because I want to have max strength dots, and I don't have Dark Soul up because I messed the timing in my cooldowns, but I want these walls to die, so I'm spreading to 3, and these are almost dead. We also get the light beams during this phase, which is super annoying, but what are you going to do? But all the ice walls die pretty quickly. And that's what I'm focusing on as a range, so we have room to move. That's kind of it. We got our beams, all the walls are dead, and one more time we're going to have to go through the maze when the walls of ice come up a third time. So ice walls one more time. I pop everything, get the dots up, and immediately kill the one that we're about to go through. And then I start killing the walls ahead. And this wall is at 60% health, and the boss is going to start moving, and it gets kind of scary because the fire's catching up to us as well. And we kill it just in time here as people are running around as the beam catches up to us very quickly. Now, the maze is the easiest part. It like reveals itself, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of Durumu in a nutshell. So, Af, you just go down to the ice walls, dodge the knockoffs, and bait the pools out, and you'll be a happy camper doing your job. It's a fun boss, I think, when it works properly. Now for the 8th boss, Primordius. One of the quintessential fun AF fights in this raid, in my opinion. Can you play the other Warlock specs? Yes. Will your raid have an easier time? If you have at least 1 or 2 affliction, yes, and you will see why. I tried to reload back in, so I didn't get to pre-pot this boss, and I still don't have essence, which is a big DPS loss, but when you're racing, you kind of get what you get and you don't get upset. Now, these big ads, swap your dots to these big ads. Try to funnel if your tank calls for it. Otherwise, don't worry about it. These little guys drop pools. Pink pool bad, red pool good. And these pink-purple pools, they also move very slowly to the boss. Don't stand in those. If you stand in these, you take negative stats, and you need to call out for Dispel, which is really bad. Your goal is to get 5 of these blue buffs, these good blue buffs, and ideally Warlocks get it pretty early on. So you'll see boom, boom. I think that's Mastery, and I don't know what that other one is, but any blue buff is a good buff. There's good combinations, there's bad combinations, but you're kind of going to get what you are going to get, so I would not worry about it at all. Just get what you get. You get 5 as fast as possible. Important note, if you're in a lane with somebody, make sure you help your buddy get transformed too, because as soon as you hit 5, and you're going to see in a moment, I'm going to hit 5, I'm going to transform. And I have, I think, crit, mastery, and spell power, I believe, and I'm ready to absolutely crank. Now, we have all 5 of these, and this lasts 2 minutes. These buffs last 2 minutes. Very important for later. Now, I try to kill these vicious horrors here, because my tanks need to swap soon before I funnel to the boss. And we're waiting for everybody in the raid to transform before we bloodlust. My buddy is now transformed, or he needs 1 more, so I'm prioritizing this. And you're going to see why AF is so strong. Now, Malefic Grasping. Try to kill this thing, give our tanks a breathing room. Waiting for everybody, and now everybody is transformed. We pop Lust. I pop everything. Doom Guard, boom, 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 boom. This is my first time popping cooldowns. And we're going crazy. Now, the reason I'm slow swapping during Bloodlust is because after 2 minutes, every single person in the raid that is transformed is going to need 5 more of these. Just like in the beginning, we're going to need 5 more each, and each pool lets you get 3 if it's red. So, what the AF blocks help do is by spreading our dots to the little guys while people funnel into the boss, we can let the raid transform back immediately. And now my understanding is that the pools do not go away. So doing it during Bloodlust when I can one-shot ads by myself is not good. This is not good. This is greedy gameplay, and I'm not going to do it from now on. Ideally, at the end of my transformation, 30 seconds left, I should be attacking these fluids to generate pools for the team. That's what I should do. And obviously, swapping to this vicious horror as well, so our tanks can swap. And swapping dots, not hard casting into it like this. I should not be doing this, but our tank needed to swap, and it was high health, so keeping dots on the boss is what I should be doing. This gameplay, I'm playing super greedy, and I would not recommend doing that. But having these pools will make our lives easier. You also have to really watch your feet, because if you hit a pink one, you're going to lose 20% of a stat, which is really bad. Really, really bad. And that's the entire fight. You're sitting here, soul swapping your heart out, And as soon as my buff falls off here, you're going to see how fast. Look, I'm just swapping between pulls. Boom. Immediately back in my 2 minutes. Big damage. I got 2 haste and 3 mastery. That's pretty good. And still swapping to the big guy. They call to make some more pools, so I'm running around swapping to the little fluids so we can get more people transforming as quick as I did, as people are falling off because I got mine very early. And that's the entire fight. It's a little bit of a healer check, I think, more than anything else because there's a lot of damage going out. But also it's a tank check as the tanks need to get their positioning right. You can see the pools get gathered into the middle and they're just like falling around the entire time, very menacingly. But Afflux make this fight a lot easier because you can generate more pools for your team. And that's about it. But don't play greedy like I did. That's not a good example. Focus on the boss and be a team player. If your raid needs more, make more. And that's it. Primordius. Dark Animus. One of the most difficult encounters to learn, honestly, in this entire raid. I'm going to explain what I'm doing in my thought process, and hopefully that helps you out in your raids. Now, these little guys need to be tanked, and Warlocks are really good at tanking these little guys. You just summon a Voidwalker, take Demon Training, and take Supremacy, and as soon as the fight starts, you make sure your Voidwalker hits that Animal Golem any way you can, and that's it. Recommend turn Suffering off autocast as it will taunt some of these other ones in, and it makes your tank's life very difficult. So, Suffering off, Demon Training, Supremacy, and it can tank the Golem, no problem. Now, getting straight into it. What spec do I play on this fight? I play Destruction. We have 2 Destructions, 2 AF. AF is very helpful for killing the adds in the beginning, because the adds need to die in a certain way to empower the Golems. AF is very, very good at doing that. I think Destruction excels in single target boss damage, same with Demo. So I would pick the single target one, and I could show my damage breakdown in my log, which I'll link in the description below. It makes a huge difference in single target damage on the boss, because I have single target damage blows. So you can see these are dying pretty quickly. I'm funneling to the boss because we lost and everything. If I see an opportunity to Shadow Burn, I should be Shadow Burning these, because these die in the beginning anyway. So I'm Shadow Burning when I can, and that's kind of it. That's, the ads are dying. Now, you can see underneath my feet, I should have stepped out of this, but you need to watch for these throughout the entire fight, because they do a lot of damage. You can see I got half chunked by that, which is really bad. I will move my pet in a little bit once more of these die, so it's within range of all the healers, not just like one of them, which makes the healers' lives a little bit easier, and they appreciate that. But this is the mechanic I want to talk about. So you get this mechanic, it does a lot of damage to you, and you switch places with the furthest target. So if you have range standing really far, one of my roles is standing really far, so I'm a matter swap target. So I will be swapping back and forth as Destruction the entire time. And that's really annoying, but it kind of is what it is. And I set up a gate here to assist. If there's not enough people on this side, I can swap really quickly, so there's a target for matter swap. So you can see, I'm over here. I don't pop a defensive because it's early on. I swapped, and boom, I'm back. That's it. We had some people die because they were out of position, very unfortunate. And I think I do a B-res here. That's fine. But we're funneling to the boss. Something that really helps as Destruction is Rain of Fire, because you have the 2 big ones in the middle. So you just get extra embers, which is super clutch. Dodging on the floor while we can. And once we're at this point of the fight, the only things you really have to worry about are these AoEs, which I just eat 2 of them like a dummy. And you can see how much damage I'm taking. I pop a health stone to try to get back in place. But the Voidwalkers are just sitting here eating. And you can't see my Voidwalker's health, but they're in a really good place, so don't worry about that. But Rain of Fire, funneling into the boss, and that's about it until we get to Jolt, which I'm waiting for the Jolt to occur, so we can see its power. Interrupting Jolt is in 10 seconds. Here's the Jolt. Now, if you get hit by this Jolt, it does a lot of damage. You can't avoid that. What's the annoying part about this Jolt is that if you start casting during the Jolt, you will be kicked out of your spell school for 10 seconds. So you do not want to be casting. Use that time to set up Rain of Fire, Conflag, even Fell Flame. Do not get kicked by that. It's super annoying. And this is basically the rest of the fight. In my role, I'm swapping back and forth. I'm making sure there's someone on each side for matter swap. I'm keeping Rain of Fire down. I'm dodging red things, and I'm not casting during Jolt. And that's the end of the fight. The hardest part is the beginning, where you're cleaning up the little ads. That's the entire thing. I'm going to skip ahead a bit. 10 seconds. There's another Jolt that goes out. I think I get kicked in this kill, so you'll be able to see that and laugh at me. Maybe I skipped over it. That's okay. But we're just funneling into the boss. Big damage to the boss. Rain of Fire down. You can see a lot of people are dying. This was a very close kill where anything could have happened. Anything can happen. These fonts do damage, so you want to stand outside the raid with it. There's a lot of just AoE damage going out constantly throughout the entire raid. There's the Jolt. We're back in it. More people dying to Jolt. Boss is getting low. Try to do as much damage as we can here. I keep swapping back and forth, getting back into position so I continue to be a swap target. And that's kind of it. That's the entire fight. I don't think I die here at the last minute. Oh, no, I do. Of course I do. I get swapped back in, you can see. There's no reason for me to be in melee here. But at this point, boom. Fight ends. Alchemist dies. So remember, the spec you pick is dependent on your role. If you're swapping, stay out. Set up gates. Don't pad on the ads. You grief your tanks. And just be very patient, because people are going to have to learn how not to bolt thread, etc. It's a frustrating fight, and that's Dark Animus. Next boss, Iron Quan. Now, you'll see here, we pull in this trash pack for a very specific reason, and you'll see in a minute. And that's for Rain of Fire funnel. You can see, look how many embers I'm generating with this Rain of Fire funnel. It makes the boss kill time so much faster, and you'll see the same mechanic in the next boss, so remember that. Ideally, we set up gates at the top here to the back end, and you'll see why later, but we didn't really have time for that because we did pull these ads in. But in the beginning here, you can just funnel into Rorschach as much as you can. Eventually, the dog will reach low enough health where the boss will get off of it. You want to do as much damage to the boss as you can in the meantime. It makes up a lot of difference later, but if you're doing this strategy, make sure you have Rain of Fire down and you're smashing the boss. If not, just regular single target boss rotation. Dodge the stuff on the floor. Dodge tornadoes. Don't make it complicated on yourself. It's super chill first phase. Now skipping ahead. Eventually these ads die. He falls off. Next dog appears. We're dodging. We're spreading. Regular mechanics. Don't have to worry about that. Sometimes people get struck with this spear, and I don't know if you'll see that. I don't think it happened to anyone close to me, but it's very obvious when they get struck with the spear, and you're going to want to free them. So keep your head on a swivel for freeing your friends with the lightning spear. Now, we have the storm coming, and this is the storm. Now, ideally, this is why you have some gates set up, because you can just gate through. But since we don't have any gates set up, we're going to rocket boot through. And if you get hit by the tornado, you get stuck in it, and it does a lot of damage. Now, ideally, we're all spread out, and we let the chain lightning expire, because this is damage to your raid, which is really, really bad. And you're going to be standing here for almost the entire rest of the fight. Now, I'm out of range of the boss, which is bad. If I had a position here, I would be hitting the boss. You can hit the boss during this time, but I didn't. I was over here, so I'm over here like a good noodle. That's okay. Now, you see this lightning goes out, it'll throw some stuff on the floor. If you get hit by this, I believe this is 20% less haste, which is really annoying. You can see Lightning Storm on Tilly. Tilly gets the pick in the ground, someone has to free him. Unfortunately, it takes 5 seconds, but he eventually gets freed. And that's basically this Thunder guy. Now, the next guy puts up the shield, this dead zone thing, which is super annoying. You'll see it faces me in a moment here. If I cast into it, all your spells just like miss. But they still generate embers, so you can't really move around because of the arced lightning. So you literally just have to stand there and cast into it to keep generating shards. That's all you can do. You can put down Rain of Fire. Rain of Fire goes through it. You can see the 73k. But that's all you can do if it's facing you. It's really annoying. That is all you can do. So you just cast into it, and that's all this guy does, is spam the dead zone. It's really lame. And the boss still throws the spear. And that's an entire dog. And then in the 4th phase, he summons all the dogs at once. And this guy still does the dead zone, which is super annoying. But this is when like your funnel really comes in handy. I would keep Rain of Fire up as much as possible with your cooldowns. It makes a big difference. I have way too many shards here, but I blow all of my Shadow Burns and I Havoc and go crazy with it. Look how much embers you generate by keeping Rain of Fire down. And luckily the shields did not pick me. And you just funnel into the boss, kill the 3 dogs that are already low. And once the dogs are low, all the abilities, by the way, are happening. Once you don't have Arc Lightning anymore, you stack up, and that's it. Now it's like a tank and spank. There's like a big AoE, and your healers just handle that. Maybe pop a defensive or health stone if you're low. That's the entire fight. Ironcon is one of the easier fights of the raid, I believe, and should be a heroic that you attempt pretty quickly. I would also not go in this boss, personally. Alright, next boss, Twins. Now, I want to state before we go any further, I think this is a big Destro fight. Can you play AF on it? Yes. Can you play Demo on it? Yes. I think Destro just, mechanically, it's perfect for that spec. It's just perfect. Now, in the beginning here, you just pop everything on pull. So I would not worry about it. Just go crazy. Every time that this Tears of the Sun occurs, the fire boss will come out. You fight just the water boss, just the fire boss, and then both at 25%. So every time this Tears of the Sun occurs, you are going to use Havoc. Ideally, you'll have a Chaos Bolt ready, but you can Havoc, put up Immolate, Conflag, whatever you can, and just deal damage to Suen. In the beginning here, you just chill and just keep. You don't really have to worry about much. You dodge this, and during Tears, you Havoc, attack. That's it. That's the entire first phase. You can put Rain of Fire down, hit 2 targets, extra embers, really good. But a single target rotation, go, go, go. And you'll see, it's pretty chill. You don't really have to worry about much outside of, again, dodging, and then Tears of the Sun comes up, Havoc, Rain of Fire, big damn. Now, as we get closer here, the day phase is about to happen. Now, here is the day phase. All of these lurkers come out. It's important to note that on pull, you use a Dark Soul, you use a second Dark Soul, and save your 3rd Dark Soul. Save the 3rd one. So Dark Soul, it'll come up. You'll notice that this came up a minute ago, but it's important that you have this charge for this, and you will see why. Now, all these little guys are coming out. We're starting to pop cooldowns. We pop Lust. Now, ideally, people aren't killing these, but look how many embers I generate from this one Rain of Fire. Rain of Fire is down. That's 1 tick. 2.4, another tick. I'm up to 3. Another tick. And you're just Chaos Bolt, Chaos Bolt, Chaos Bolt, insane Chaos Bolt funnel. Now, hopefully people aren't like killing these and stealing your boss funnel, but if they are, unfortunate. And maybe Destro's not as good on this boss for you. But for those that can, as these ads live, this is such an insane funnel. You can look at my resource generation. It just works so well. Every once in a while, there's going to be an Inferno that goes out. Your raid will stack behind this Ice Comet. And I want to note something as well. The boss has a deflection up. I'm casting into the boss, but I'm doing it so I can keep generating embers. It does no damage. I know that. That's okay. This would also be a good opportunity, as soon as the boss is done, to put up Havoc and Shadowburn funnel, at least 3 shards worth, but I don't do that here, because I was trying not to kill these in the beginning, and then I was like, oh, I should probably do that, because it's a lot of damage. But the ads are dead now, and now it's just regular single target rotation. We're gonna keep moving forward to when both of the ads come out, because that's all you do, is stack behind the Comet and pump it to the boss and use the funnel. Here we go again, casting into it, the deflection, just generate some shards. Moving forward, we're gonna hit 25%. Any moment now. Here it is, next phase, night phase, and we have both bosses come out any second. Ooh, I guess it's 20%, not 25%. Oh, no, it's 25%. Perfect. Make sure elements is up, and we're killing the fire one first. And we're just going to go crazy into the fire one as best as we can. Damage should be good here. You have all your cooldowns. You go crazy on it. All the mechanics happen at once, so you have ice comets, etc. There's this tidal force, which just dodge these waves. Not a big deal. But this boss is, I would say, one of the easier ones, because you don't have to worry about that many mechanics as a Warlock, and the rest of your raid doesn't really have to do much. It's really the person that's doing the painting for these buffs, which you can see here, doing a lot of the heavy lifting, also the tanks, of course, maybe the healers as well. That's the entire fight. That's all you got to worry about, and it's a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite fights. Now for the most difficult fight in the raid, and honestly my favorite fight in the raid, Lei Shen. This is a very good fight. Before it even starts, make sure you have a gate down between this pillar and the middle, and ideally you have 4 warlocks, and you can do it for all 4 pillars. You will see why later. Very important, this thunder is going to be coming out, and what happens is a big AoE, and if you're close to it, you'll die. So you'll see the moment that it occurs, we run away and get as far away as we possibly can, because it's less damage the further away you are. These bouncing balls, when they go out, they summon these ads. These ads are great for us if some of them come out, because these are funnel. You'll see later that we will be Havoc Shuttle Burning, popping our cooldowns on the next quadrant. But there's the thunder. This first thunder, I always rocket boot away so I can keep casting, so I can get more funneling into the ads and not really have to worry about my positioning that much. Now I'm going to fast forward a little bit. The tank walks by with us, and now we're on the next platform. This corner does the static. Static just does a big AoE and does less damage the more people that are stacked, so you don't really have to worry about it here. It's a healer issue. But as these unharnessed powers start to get lower, I get ready to pop my Dark Soul so I can Havoc and I can Shuttle Burn into the boss as much as I can. These kind of evaporate because we have 4 Destro locks, so funneling with Havocs as best as I can here. And luckily I use all the charges. Successful funnel. Now this next thunder, I pre-pep my port opposite side of where we started, so I don't have to move as far and try to drop Chaos Bolts in the meantime. This third one I'm going to have to Burning Rush, unfortunately, but this is the Reflect platform. It summons 1 ad. If you don't have the Reflect or the Grounding up, it will summon a lot more than 1 ad, and will probably be very difficult to recover from. So use this as a Havoc target, very easy. Now we're going to get another Thunder, and this one we're going to have to use a Burning Rush, run, launching some Fell Flames, maybe a Rain of Fire, that's it. Now, moving to the next area. These circles, you just stand within the circle, and you don't get stunned. If you're out of the circle, you get stunned. That's it. Sometimes if it's a melee, you can outrange it over here, but otherwise, you just pump the boss, and then we get into our first intermission. Very fun intermission. Now, for us, this is where the gates are going to come in handy. Make sure you drop a port. You must drop a port. And you have to understand what each of all of these abilities do. I don't know if I get all of them here, but I will explain what I can as they occur. Now, this is the overcharge. We saw it earlier. Stand in the circle. Make sure the chain goes out before, because if you get close to hop into this and the chain hasn't gone out, it'll bounce off this guy, and then it'll hit you, and it'll summon many ads, and you will probably wipe. So you get in, it goes out, nobody gets stunned, and you're all good. Now you spread out again. So this is the Helm. The Helm pushes you off the edge. If you pop Burning Rush and run straight, you can beat it, but this is why we drop a port. This is why we have our emergency gate if you get too far away. So if you get Helm, run against it. We also have our balls from the first quadrant we talked about earlier. You can eat that ball. You just stand in it, you eat it with a friend, and we will talk about the static momentarily, because static does a lot of damage. It's important for this fight that we are taking Dark Bargain, so we can solo soak statics. Between Dark Bargain, Void Walker, and our wall, we should be able to live if a healer is looking at us when this is happening. the healer is not looking at us, we will probably die, but my healer is pretty competent, so if it happens to me, I don't have to worry about it. Another overcharge, just stack on in, don't have to worry about the stun, and by the way, there's 2 intermissions. This is the same thing happens twice, so keep that in mind. And here's the helm again, helm hits our healer, we're soaking more balls, and that's it, it's phase 2. It's a good size, it's like a 40-second intermission, so I don't want to worry about that much. Now, in this phase, to bait the balls, we have people on the outside. I'm not one of the people on the outside, so I'll be stacking in the melee. If you have questions about that, ask below. I will answer whatever you want. But when you hear bait balls, what you should do, and I don't do this often, and I should, is think Havoc the boss, because you're going to see in a moment. The ball's going to come out, and we DK grip them in, and I'm pre-casting Incinerate to hit all of them. And you're going to watch these evaporate, and they get low, and I try to hit Shadow Burns before they evaporate fully, so I can funnel into the boss. Just Shadow Burn whatever I possibly can here. And I get all the charges off, but that doesn't happen every time. And I cap on resources all the time here. Now, in this phase, you have to dodge this whip. It's very easy to dodge. I wouldn't worry about it. We also get these guys from the beginning again, the bouncing balls. Use them for funnel. So set in place. Do big damage. If you're one of the ones that need to stand out, you stand out. You go crazy with it. Now, we're going to do this again, this whole process again. So I'm just going to skip ahead. Balls are out. We soak some. Whip goes out. Hit the whip. And then the balls come out. We kill the balls. And that's kind of it. That's the entire second phase in a nutshell. Very, very, very chill phase. I think this is one of the easier phases. Balls are out. Pre-cast a little bit. I got my Havoc out, and you're gonna see I don't think I get like any of these. I only get one. They die so quickly in this raid. So, and I'm also capped on my resources. This is the entire second phase. I'm just gonna skip ahead now. Killing balls, dodging whips. You're standing out, blah blah blah. Now, next intermission. We're getting ready, good quadrants, and we're here. Now, I'm back with my friends, and we're getting ready for all the intermission-y fun things that we talked about earlier. Balls are out, stay spread out. Gonna soak this with my friends. Nice. We have the helm incoming. Hopefully it doesn't pick one of us. It does. And you see, he's just running towards it. We'll hit this. All right, this is what I talked about earlier. So you're gonna see at the end of the static here, I'm going to pop my wall, I'm going to hit Dark Bargain, and you're going to see I take no damage. But at the end of this Dark Bargain here, I'm going to take a lot of damage. So I calm that I can't soak this because I'm about to take a shit ton of damage. So my healer is getting ready to heal me. You can see me just fucking chunking, getting destroyed. And a health stone to try to stay alive. And we're straight chilling still. Try to kill this ad when it's up, do the best we can. And now we transition into the third phase. Now, it's important to note that I don't have Dark Bargain because it will come in handy later. Now, this third phase, we get all the mechanics at once, all 4 mechanics at once. You can see all the quadrants, all the fun stuff. I'm funneling to the boss to try to do all that fun stuff. Sometimes you'll get some weird orders for these, but hopefully you get the right ones, and we lost here. But you can see Thunder is coming from the first phase, so we try to run far away and bait a far Thunder. As far as possible, you're going to see the boss queue up the Thunder. And then everybody's going to run back in. It's going to say Thunder. I think it occurs over here. No, it's on top of us. So you just run through. Further away the better. Further the better. Bait the balls. I'm not one of the people that needs to stand out, so I stand in. And it's the same as before. Kill the balls as fast as possible. Try to use them for funnel. Whip again. And now we got the wind again. And we're trying to run to the outside. So we don't bait a bad Thunder. Because if the Thunder's too close to the boss, it makes things so much harder for everybody. So you just don't want to be in. Now the balls are going to come before the Thunder. So I move in a little bit earlier. Because the Thunder is queued in a bad spot. We get the balls. Now I run out because of the Thunder. And it happens to hit right on top of me, so it's a good thing I moved out. We're killing the balls best way we can. And the whip is being casted. Whip is super easy to dodge. I would not worry about that. Try to run over here, soak the balls. It's just everything at once, so you just gotta be very proactive on your feet depending on what happens. But as long as your ball soakers are out, including you, like, I stay out there because I know that I won't make it in time for the Thunder. So here, I don't have Dark Bargain. We're about to kill the boss. It's at 6%. So I make a calm, like, I'm just gonna die. Like, don't heal me, because if I go into the raid with this, they're gonna take a ton of damage. So you don't want to do that. So I just die on the outside, and then they battle res me, which is fine, because I've seen so many raids where they run to the outside. I wait for the Thunder to go out, and then I accept it, dodge the whip again, get ready, and by the grace of all that is good and holy in the world, we kill it here. Again, very hard fight. But once we kill these balls, I mean, the fight's basically over. It's very important that every time the balls get brought in, your Shadow Fury might be very useful on them. So take that ability. You don't really need Mortal Coil at all. And that's it. That's Lei Shen. Very good fight. If you have any questions, again, you could join the Discord and ask, or ask in the description below. I'll answer basically anything about strategy or whatever, and I'll just brain dump onto you. Now for the last fight. Time for the final boss in the raid, Horridon, and I gotta say that this fight becomes much easier with some Destruction Warlock, so I would recommend playing Destruction Warlock here. Now at the start, I drop some Rain of Fires, I pre-cast, pre-pot, blah blah blah. Make sure you place down your gate every time, make sure you place down your port every time, we will talk about that later. Now this is the main thing Destruction is good for. These red balls, you have to kill a bunch of them. Destruction is very good at 2-target. It has 11 million health, but a lot of the times it still doesn't die. So, cat's into it. I wasted a Chaos Bolt there. You saw it hit, did no damage. It's okay. We go back onto the boss. Ideally, a Shadow Burn there instead, but I was slow. That happens. Now, you sit here and do damage. In addition to the red ball, there are these Crackling Stalkers. You can feel free to use these for funnel. When they die, they drop a big lightning thing. Honestly, it's not really your problem. You're a ranged character, so don't really worry about it. And that's kind of the main fight loop, is killing reds and then killing the stalkers. Now, you're going to see in a moment here, this is the big mechanic in the fight, and if you have the Foju before, it says you are next. What you have to do, all you have to do when you are next in this rotation, is you go to Diamond, so you click the gate. Boom, you can keep casting from this range. You go out, you get hit with the ability, now it's on you, and you have to go to Triangle. So you port, and you wait it out, and that's it. That is all you have to do. If your raid messes up that 1, 2, 3 rotation, you will probably wipe and have an awful time. So, that is it. And I'm not going to bore you with watching the rest, because this is the entire phase until phase 2. Kill the red, you eventually ignore an orb, the 4th one you ignore, you funnel into the boss. If you get chosen, you go out. When these 2 orbs touch the boss, it resets the rotation. I'm going to show that right here. So the ball's going to hit, does a big AoE, it resets the rotation, and then if you get picked again, you just run to Triangle if you have the Vida, and then you run back into the raid. We need a set person to go out every single time to make the rotation as easy as possible. And that is the entire first phase. Now I'm going to skip ahead. One more time. I get it. I go out. That's it. I pour it in. Freaking out. Really difficult. Back in the melee. Again. Use the Stalkers to funnel. Cooldowns on reds. That's it. Until the next phase. Now, this boss ends at 5%. Keep that in mind. The boss ends at 5%. So don't hold your cooldowns or anything if he's at like 10%, because there's literally no reason to. At 40%, you hit phase 2. And again, it's kind of just a tank and spank. There's 2 orbs that spawn. One of them heals. One of them just increases the guy's damage. So maybe a raid leader will call to kill the healing one. That's okay. It's Havoc, just like killing the red. It's the same thing. You just attack it. And then you just hit Horridon, and you don't have to worry. Once you're in phase 2, it's kind of like you don't have to worry about the lightning thing. It's kind of home free, and you'll see at 5%, he's dead. That's it. That is Raw Den. Fairly simple, but again, you only have 30 attempts, so yeah, that's it. Now you might be wondering, what do I coin as a Warlock in Throne? And I made this little write-up for you. There's some very useful early, easier bosses. Council, Meghaera. I spelled this wrong. Ji-Kun, Iron Khan, which all have very good items for their respective specs. Make sure you know which one you're building for. If you want to go AF, if you want to go Destro, if you want to go Demo. If you're full clearing, Dark Animus, Horridon, Lei Shen. I think if you're just clearing the easier bosses, these three are very good to coin on. Council, almost mandatory for the trinket. It's very strong. And you get tier gloves as Destro. Iron Khan, pretty decent for ring, and you get tier shoulders, which all three specs use. And Meghaera, you get neck, and then the bracers. If you're after Demo, you can go for Ji-Kun for the belt as well. If you're full clearing, Dark Animus is mandatory. You want your weapon. Weapon is such a big DPS upgrade for everybody. And if you're Destro, you get one of your trinkets as well. So you could theoretically get both of them pretty easily if you're full clearing between Council and Dark Animus. Horridon has so many items for us. If you are full clearing, you have to coin Horridon and save one, no matter what. No matter what. And if you're killing Lei Shen, UVLS is such a silly, strong trinket. 100% crit for 4 seconds, RPPM, love that. And you get access to the offhand, which is super useful as well. So keep this in mind. Example of an early. You're still proccing Lei Shen, but you have everything else. And if you're full clearing, keep this in mind moving forward. Hey everyone, thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you had any questions on anything, make sure to join the Discord or leave a comment. I will get to every single one, I promise. If you like what you saw, make sure to like, again, comment, maybe share the video around to a Warlock that might be struggling in Throne. I plan on continuing through Siege of Orgrimmar, so you will see me again at least one more time, and I plan on doing anything Classic Plus related, and I'm playing China WoW. So there will be more content soon. Mop's been a little slow, but I'm still enjoying myself, and I look forward to seeing what the end of Mop brings for the entire Classic saga. So thank you very much, and I hope to catch you next time. Peace.